Hey guys, welcome back to the 1997. My name is AJ, and today, instead of being joined by a real person, I'm joined by the ghost that lives in my bedroom. No, please don't click away. I'm serious. You heard that correct. There's a ghost that lives in my bedroom, and I'm low-key terrified that I might die. I think it hates me. It has like some kind of vengeance against me. I wasn't gonna talk about it because I was like, I don't really know if I believe in anything. I don't know, maybe supernatural or whatever. I don't know. It's weird, okay? If you're a regular listener, then you already know that I live on the 13th floor. I explained that in the last couple of episodes when I explained how I almost died in a fire. Unlucky floor 13. Not only will it prevent you from leaving the building in a timely manner as it's burning down around you, but apparently it comes with haunted apartments as well. This has been something that I feel like it's been in my room since I moved to this apartment. I haven't always lived in New York City. And I moved from Staten Island, and like I never felt anything weird. That's a lie. We'll get into it. I guess first I should explain, right? Do I guess believe in ghosts or like supernatural things? I don't think that I do, but at the same time, so much shit has happened that I'm like, there's absolutely no way that it's like not some like spirit ghost demon or something like that. When I mean like crazy shit, like sometimes I feel like there's someone literally standing or like hovering next to me or walking around in my room, throwing stuff on the floor, just like random crap. And like, first off, like if it's a demon, ghosty spirit, whatever, why aren't you nicer? Like, why can't your why can't your like thing be, I don't know, folding my laundry that's been sitting on my bed for 3 days? Why can't it be putting my shoes back on the shoe rack when I'm done with them as opposed to just kicking them by my door? No, it's like inconvenient things like, hey, that water bottle that's on the desk, now it's on the floor. Have fun getting it, asshole. Or my, or like posters on the wall just coming down whenever they feel like after putting fresh tape. I've taped every corner, inch, nook, cranny so that it didn't fall, and yet it still fell to the ground. Okay, I have these huge bookcases in my room. Oh wow, AJ's a big nerd. Okay, we get it, guys. We get it. This is not hound on AJ. And I have these I love how like, oh, I'm such a nerd. When I'm like, yeah, I have these Harry Potter collectible books and you know the cards that come inside the chocolate frogs. Yeah, I have those. They're collectibles. Leave me alone. We all have our things. I don't like being judged for mine. So basically I have these cards and they always fall and they never used to fall. I had them in the same way where they're kind of leaning against the books, and there's no like when my AC isn't on, so you're not going to be like, oh well, maybe there was a draft or something. I don't know, I moved it or I talk, like I know I talk a lot, but I'm not talking enough where it's producing air at a fast, like heavy, dense volume. I don't know, would air be dense? Air dense? Am I dense? These cards would always fall no matter which way like they were leaning, or if I even like tried taping them, would always fall. So when I first moved here, I didn't think anything of it. So like I was like, oh, there has to be some kind of draft. And one night, it was just in my apartment by myself, and I just hear these like footsteps. And like I live in like a corner apartment, so I can hear other people, but I'm usually really, and I've been living in apartments basically my whole life, so I'm used to hearing sounds coming from other people's apartments, and I can tell the difference of when something is in my apartment and when something's not in my apartment. And this motherfucker had some big ass Bigfoot feet stomping around in my hallway like he pays rent here. Like I barely pay rent here. Like, what are you doing? Like, no, calm down. And like, this is what I mean. Like, why can't you be like a nice demon ghost spirit, you know, tiptoe around the room? Like, what if I was recording? You know what I mean? He was gonna come in between. I should stop. I'm here and I'm angering it. I can't sit here and be like, oh, well, nothing supernatural has ever happened to me, ever. Because when I think was in high school, the wrestling team went to this abandoned hospital that, you know, is supposed to be haunted. They used to torture kids. It's a really big story. My theory is there was like spirits maybe like resting in the building that we were like messing around in, and maybe they like went up to like the roof level or something like that to try to like not be disturbed by a bunch of like idiot teenagers with like cameras and like pretending that we're like ghosts to like scare one another. And I think when I went up to the roof that maybe like I collided with someone or something. It was just very weird. I felt very off and I didn't know why or what was happening. So I was like, you know what? I'm getting off like absolutely right now, not playing around, like whatever. So I go home, everything's fine and whatever. But this, mind you, is the same hospital. When I was younger, my brother went with his friends. I'm telling you, this is the thing that they do on Staten Island. It's super tiny. There's nothing to do there. Jesus Christ, you think small towns are bad? Small islands are worse. So my brother was like really big into like the rave scene when he was younger and was like, yeah, they broke into this hospital and we're like, we're gonna throw a rave for all the dead children's spirits. You know, we're gonna liberate them and we're gonna dance, and at midnight we're gonna release their souls up. And I was like, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. And he was like, no, just you wait and see. And my mom, I grew up in a very like religious household, right? I'm not very religious myself, but my mother definitely is. And she was like, oh my God, it's going to be witchcraft. Jesus isn't going to forgive you. It was a lot. Like, it was really heavy. My mom really freaked out. So he was like, I'm going to do it anyway, wham, wham, because, you know, we're bad kids, whatever. So he goes and I don't know what happens. He says they went and they set up, but something about the situation, I don't know, the things weren't right. Every time they tried to do something, they felt like there was like this strong entity, I don't know, closing in on. It was really weird the way he described it. And I was really young. So I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and like pretend that I remember everything he said, but I know that he was like that. It was really, really bad. Like I don't know, he felt like the walls were like closing in on them. And they had not felt that way previously, only when they started like setting up like party decorations. Like he really thought he was going to liberate the dead. My brother really thought he was Gandhi for demon ghost spirits. Please, why do men think they're God's gifts? Anyway, so back to the story. So he comes home that night and I don't know if he brought something like home with him, but I remember we used to share a room as kids. He like came and was like, oh, I don't really feel good, whatever. And he left the room or something like that. And I don't know, I got this overwhelming sense of just anxiety and terror. And it was like really cold. And I was like very uncomfortable. I didn't know what was happening. I was like, what the hell is going on? So I went, obviously, as a kid to go complain to my mother, like you do when you're like 8. And so I'm leaving my room to go tell her. And as I crossed like the threshold between my room and like the hallway, all the stress, everything left my body. Like it was like there was no more pressure, there was no more nothing. Like I was normal. And I looked back at my room, it literally felt like there was like a veil between my room and the hallway. And inside that room was like a spirit or something or a demon. I don't know. I freaked out. So I went to my mom. She obviously didn't believe me. And every time I entered my room after that, I'd feel like this weird, odd sense of just pressure in my chest or around me and like anxiety. And like I always felt like there was eyes watching me. It was so creepy. I literally slept, I think, on my couch for maybe like a couple of weeks after that. I refused to even step in my room. So my grandma came over, and my grandma, obviously very religious also, is like, oh my God, it's a demon. He brought it home. Everyone's yelling in Spanish. And since I don't speak it, I'm like, oh my God, we gonna die, right? My grandma was a G, by the way. May she rest in peace. I loved her. I feel like there was nothing that like little old lady couldn't do. She was the only old person I could ever stand because she was just built differently. She was amazing. She was like, I'm going to give you this dream catcher. I soaked it in holy water. All you have to do is like put it up in your room and it'll trap all the spirits or something like that. It'll trap all the bad entities. I don't know how dream catchers work. I'm not into spirituality or anything like that. I always thought they looked cool, but my mom was always like, no, they're bad luck. My grandma was like, no, it's going to catch the demon or whatever. So I was like, I'm going to trust my Gma on this, you know? She gives me food and she catches demons. She's pretty badass. I'd be dumb to not believe her, right? So I brought it up. And I don't think she maybe talked about it with my mom first or anything like that, because I went to sleep. The dream catcher was there. I felt fine. I felt safe. Woke up in the morning. I felt good. I was like, yeah, this dream catcher is lit, guys. My grandma's a superhero. You know what I mean? Ghostbusters, call her up. She's here to take your job. I went to school and I came back and the dream catcher was just gone. And I was like, gone, you say? Completely freaked. So I'm asking my brother around, and maybe he like took it down. Like I said, we shared rooms. Like maybe he just didn't want this, you know, something inherently girly or whatever up in the room. He was like, no, he didn't touch it. Whatever. Obviously, we were at school. I don't know why I thought he would touch it, but you know, whatever. So I didn't even think to ask my mother. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. Nobody was home. I don't know why I thought the world just stopped existing while I was out doing other things, but God, was I narcissistic. Like I just felt like people's lives like stopped, like it was a video game, like it just didn't load and only my world. So I was like, oh, if my brother obviously couldn't do it because he was in school, then that means, you know, my mom couldn't have done it. And then the next day, my grandma came back over or something like that. And then the dream catcher was just back in my room with no explanation. Nobody told me one person moved it and one person put it back, but I was convinced that this demon was moving it, was just like taking it away to try to grab me, and that every time my grandma came, she'd put it back up. So I was really into this idea, like my grandma was really some like Ghostbuster. Anyway, to conclude the story, it turns out my mom was hiding the dream catcher from me in a drawer. And I know you're like, see, there's no ghost, but like that doesn't take away from the fact that like there was still this like evilness in my room, and whether it was a demon or just my imagination, grandma nuked the shit out of it. Okay. Grandma was the goat. So it reminded me a lot of when I moved here, because I felt all the same things, like all that anxiety, all those eyes watching me. And you think I want some ghosty spirit watching me? I'm afraid that there's some like creepy demon jerking off to me in my corner, and I don't like that. So I haven't actually seen him around, which is why I bring it up. I was having this conversation on Discord last night with Christina, by the way. She says hi, and exciting news may be coming from her in the nearby future, so be sure to look out for that. We were having this discussion about like ghosts last night, and she also thinks that she has a ghost in her room, and I'm like, what is up with this? So I was like, I have to talk to you guys about it. There's no way that like I can continue to go on, because if this ghost kills me, sometimes I feel he starts like getting angry. It has to be a guy, right? Because a girly queen would never do that to me. And I refuse to believe that in 2021, ghost girl spirits would be against regular human girls. Absolutely not. The girls are for the girls. No matter if we're dead or alive, we take that shit to the grave and the afterlife. So yeah, it's definitely a guy. I don't know. So if I die or mysteriously go missing, just know it was the demon. And if anyone has any name suggestions, like maybe we should name him. Oh, what if he could be our mascot? That's my thing. That's how I'm gonna like get rid of this ghost. Because like I have to like resolve this problem somehow, right? Hear me out on this. My plan is to bully my ghost to leave me alone. He hasn't been around for a couple of days, but recently I've been getting like this like odd feeling, like maybe it's like coming back. I remember yelling. I looked crazy. I had to tell you, after the fire happened and like something fell off my desk, I was like, do you have any compassion whatsoever? I literally almost died. Okay. I don't need part 2 right now. You need to leave me alone just for the night. Get out. Goodbye. Haunt me another time. And like I was just screaming at the air, literal thin air. So if you ever believe that you're crazy, you're not. Just, you know, think of AJ, the weirdo who yells into nothing at possible demon ghost spirits. Wow. Isn't that just something? My life is messed, man. It's messed. But you know what's not messed? Today's plugin for the day. Do you sit around in your room thinking, hey, I could talk in front of a microphone for random strangers on the internet, but I don't know how to get started? I have a deal for you. You can sign up with Podbean using my code 1997AJ. If you don't know what Podbean is, it's what we're listening to my podcast on right now. Because of the help of Podbean, it distributes my show to any platform. So no matter where you're listening to, in your car, or if you're walking, or if you're, I don't know, in the shower. I listen to podcasts in the shower. Just know that it's being hosted through Podbean and shot out to all these different sites at no extra charge for me. It is completely user-friendly and offers just about every service that you could possibly need, whether you're just starting out or you've been podcasting for a couple of years now. Personally, I use the monthly unlimited plan because it provides me with all the hours and flexibility that I need to manage my show. So you can go to www.podbean.com/1997AJ to get your first month free. There's that. There's a story on how there is a demon ghost in my room. There's been a demon ghost in my past. Hopefully the other day I ordered like this astronaut to go in my wall, and I'm gonna name her Sam. Sam with a 5. If you've ever watched Band Slam, that's a reference to that. And she's gonna protect me from this demon ghost because I feel like astronauts could do anything. I know that sounds insane, but that's because I am. Have you not been listening for the past, I don't know what, 27 episodes? I got a screw loose in my head or something, but her vibe is really pretty. If you want to follow me on Twitch, you get to hang out with me and her as we play Minecraft 100 days in hardcore mode with all our friends. I'll be streaming my POV. My Twitch is Angelina_not_Jolie. I know it's super creative, just like this show. So I guess my closing statements would be, do you guys believe in ghosts? Do you believe what I'm saying? Or you're just kind of like, oh my God, she's chatting major bullshit right now. I feel like if somebody told me the things that I said here today, I'd be like, wow. Yeah, maybe go to a psych ward, maybe like get things checked out, maybe go to therapy, or maybe therapy can't save you. I would honestly think somebody's crazy. So I don't blame you guys if you're like, oh, AJ's, she's really losing it on her own over here. But let me know down in the comments or DM me, do you believe in ghosts? And if you've had a ghost experience, let me know so that I don't feel like this one demon is like just after me. Humble me with your ghost stories, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop the mic there. I can't wait to hear your responses. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Angelina_MNDZ for any and all updates regarding the show. And remember that no matter where you're tuning in, type in the 1997 as one word, followed by the word podcast, and make sure to hit the follow and the like button. It really helps push my content. Plus, you'll be notified every time I upload a brand new episode. Until next week, guys. Peace.